Hello, my loves. I am back with another video. Um, and I'm not sure if it was my last video or if it was the video before. However, I was saying that I was going to reveal basically what my next adventure was, what I had manifested. And probably about almost maybe 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, I was staying at an Airbnb in Ellenwood, Georgia, and um, I was just, kind of wondering what the next step was because I had been doing the Airbnbs for a while, and I was like, okay, I'm a little bit over spending money on that where I could actually be spending money on something like, crystals or whatever to better myself on my, in my spiritual being. So while I was there, what my inner self or my higher self guided me to was this website where you basically you house sit for people for free and pet sit, and you get a place to stay. It could be a short gig. It could be something for a few days. It could be something that's 3 months, 6 months. And not only do you house sit for people and pet sit for people, you can travel around the country or around the world. And so I thought to myself, it was my heart, my soul guiding me to the next phase of my journey. And what happens with me, and I'm pretty sure it happens to all of us, we start questioning, okay, is this really my soul speaking to me, or am I just being on the logical side, thinking things through. However, the way it came to me, literally just like that. And and then I was questioning it because you had to pay money to sign up for it. However, the amount of money I had to spend on it was cheaper than what I was spending every week on a new Airbnb. And so I signed up for it, and I started creating my profile because, of course, you create a profile and you tell people about yourself. It's a picture of you and a picture of you with animals and different things. And I didn't even complete my profile. I probably had done about 80 something percent of the profile when I got an email alert from that site saying that someone had basically chosen me. And I'm like, well, is my profile published? Like, what is happening? So, make a long story short, a lady in Marietta had saw my profile and was interested in me and wanted to, talk to me about, house and pet sitting. She has 2 cats. And I said, you know, wow, the universe answered, very, very quickly. And that's another reason, when it's the universe, because things just start rolling and happening. Um, so I messaged with the lady on the site, and she asked me some questions about myself, and she wanted to meet me and wanted a couple of references. So the first reference I reached out to was somebody I used to work with in corporate America, and she was like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll give you a reference." Never heard from her. And this was the first corporate job reference. The second job reference was this guy that I used to work with, and he's no longer working for that company either. And he was like, sure, he would do it. He would speak to the lady, and he spoke to her immediately. He was actually the second reference. The first reference was someone I had stayed with Airbnb, who had 2 dogs, and she gave me an immediate reference. And the lady who I'm staying at her home right now, she was like, wow, she gave you a lovely review. I was like, wow. She had only known me for about a month, and she had spoke really highly of me. Again, the universe. So the lady was like, she wanted to meet me. We met face to face at a Chick-fil-A. I don't, eat meat. However, that's the place she chose. So I met her there. Immediately felt her energy. She had a septum ring, which I had a septum ring, and I might put it back in. I still have my nose ring. She had a piercing on her lips. She had tattoos that said love and just different things. And I just felt her energy, and I was like, wow, her vibes are really cool. She's a really dope person. And I could tell that we had similarities. She doesn't have any children. She's in her early 40s. I'll be 40 this year. And one of her cats, the pattern on him is like the pattern of my cat that I had in Jamaica. And it's crazy because before my first eye opened, I wasn't a big fan of cats. I grew up around dogs, and cats were, they just seemed like they were less friendly and wanted, love to be loved on type of vibe. However, when you connect to source and when you understand who you are, the I am in it all and the oneness in it all, you start to love just every living being. Snakes, cats, lizards, everything, you just love life because you understand that you are all of those things. So you start to feel a connection to them. So anyways, long story short, I've been here since today is Sunday, and I've been here since Wednesday. And I drove her to the MARTA station so she can catch her flight, because she'll be gone for a month. So I am in her home, taking care of her pets and her plants, and just respecting her home for a month on my own. When I tell you, when I spoke with her, she's like, you meditate? I have a meditation room. She has a room designated just for meditation with this beautiful pillow. And I'm actually sitting in the meditation room right now. The walls are of a green color to them, which is not quite the color of the heart chakra, but it puts me in the mood of the heart chakra, or the energy, the vibration of the heart chakra. She has incense. She was like, feel free to burn my incense in the meditation room. She has cookbooks. I love to cook. She has a coffee machine with a grinder. I do love coffee. However, I only really drank it, a lot of it when I was in Jamaica, which is because they have really good coffee, Blue Mountain Coffee. And so today, I just wanted to basically reveal, this is what I manifested for myself. Even in her meditation room, she has, it's like little, I'm not sure what you call them at the very moment, but basically you stick it on your wall, and it's the continents of this world. And it has North America, South America, has part of the Caribbean or the West Indies, Africa, and Asia, and Europe, and Australia. And so she travels all around the world, and she's definitely an inspiration. She's was a gymnast in her former life. She has pictures of that, like being a part of an Olympic team. It has a medal. She is a pole fitness instructor. She has a pole in her living room. Dope, right? She doesn't have cable. I don't watch that. I'll hook up my Apple TV just to watch movies or watch some YouTube videos. That's about it. And her back patio, she has chairs that you can sit on. I meditated on one of the chairs today because the sun was out and I saw the moon. So it just, that energy, I just felt like I wanted to be out in nature and breathe that in. And then one of her cats, while I was out there meditating, came out there. So I have my own room to stay in. The color of the room is red and white, so it's more kind of making me feel like I need to, again, be more grounded, because I have a tendency to be up to the sky, up in the clouds. And I've been working on grounding myself more, standing on the earth, using hematite, tiger eye stone, and I'll put it closer, tiger eye stone, hematite, and black tourmaline. And then I always keep serpentine, or serpentine, however you want to pronounce it, but I say serpentine. This one right here definitely is your heart chakra, and it actually keeps you balanced, because with your heart chakra being your center, it is balancing to me, and the way I feel, it balances or aids you in balancing your chakras, because if your heart chakra is not aligned, and or it's blocked, you're not tapping into your higher chakras. You're basically stuck in your lower chakra. So I can tell my higher self is telling me that I need to focus more on my lower chakras, because it basically keeps you in tune with the earthly plane that we're on. So today's video basically is, how do you know you're walking in your soul purpose? So me saying all of that's my higher self of the universe telling me I'm walking in my soul purpose, because I'm manifesting things that I need at that time. The universe always provides when you're walking in your soul purpose. You get messages from the universe. When I was out meditating, I saw what I think may be a hawk or a falcon. And last night, it took me a little over 3 hours to read this book. It's called The Alchemist. I had heard of this book from watching another YouTuber's channel, and he was talking about how he read this book and how it was powerful. And I wanted to read this book, and I tried to find it online through PDF, because you can find free books on PDF online all the time. However, this book wasn't on there. This woman has a library of all kind of books that are inspirational books that help you on your journey to growing in your higher self and tuning yourself back into your higher self. Because really, the journey is more about remembering who you are, and tapping into your soul's purpose and your dreams. So this is another book that I'm actually going to start, The Seat of the Soul. And I'm going to post a picture on my Instagram of 10 books that I'm going to read. Well, I've already read one, The Alchemist, so it's 9. She has plenty of other books, and she gave me a couple that she thinks that I should read, because she has books by her nightstand in her room, and then she has books downstairs in part of her finished basement, and she has a hot tub, y'all. So I was in the hot tub, I think on Friday I got in the hot tub, because that was the first day that it wasn't raining throughout the whole day. But like I said, she's a really cool person. She is in tune with a lot of my higher self, because I was meeting a lot of people that were feeding into my lower chakra, or probably I should say just like some of my fears and things that I still have to work on, or still am working on, like purging out of my recycle bin. Because I feel like a lot of things I have in my recycle bin, like I put it in trash, but I didn't quite delete it. So during this time of so much happening in the month of July and in the month of August, where we had Mercury in retrograde, we had the lunar eclipse, we had like 5 planets in retrograde, which I posted on my Instagram page, Knowledge Butterfly, guys, so check that out. And yeah, just a lot going on in the celestial beings, which your celestial beings are also inside of you, your cells, your universe, your innerverse, I should say. So just like Mars is in retrograde, or Mercury is in retrograde, and Jupiter and other planets are in retrograde, those planets are also inside of you, like they're cells inside of you that are in retrograde. So it impacts like the way you eat, it impacts the way you think, it impacts the way you communicate, because Mercury is your communication. So you have to be mindful of your communication with others, and honestly, not just your communication with human experiences or encounters, also your animal encounters, because I'm dealing with 2 cats right now. One is more likes to stay indoors, and is the part of me that loves being indoors sometimes, and maybe watching a movie, maybe chilling or chillaxing in the house. The other one is like an explorer. So he wants to go out and explore his neighborhood and his surroundings and be out in nature. And so that's the other part of me, and it's in finding that balance. And that's what the universe, and it actually just came to me today when I was meditating, that's what the universe is showing me, and finding that center and that balance, because both cats represent different parts of me. That right side of my brain, and then my left side of my brain, and also just finding a balance of knowing that it's okay to be indoors sometimes, it's okay to be in a home sometimes, and it's also okay to be exploring and going out to different countries, which is what Heidi is doing, and following her soul purpose and her dreams and helping people, which is my calling. And helping people, it's basically by helping yourself, because every step you take towards your soul purpose, in those travels, you're meeting people, and you're exchanging energy, which is aiding in their process, and it's also aiding in your own. So yeah, that goes into another point. You start meeting people that aid in that purpose, that soul purpose, because they teach you some things about yourself, and whether it be a lesson of something that you need to work on, or it be something that, basically shows you that you're moving in the right direction. Also, what else do I have down? Oh, I see signs all around me. The universe speaks in which the Alchemist, this book, y'all, it talks about that. I cannot express how this book right here, the reason why I was able to read it so quickly is because I felt it. I didn't want to put it down. So I wasn't even sleepy. And I read this book, I started at like 10 p.m. and I finished at like 1:20 or something like that. So this book talks about that, how the universe speaks in signs. The universe has a language. It has a universal language that you can communicate with animals, you can communicate with trees, you can communicate with people who speak another earth language without even words, basically. It's like how you can have a pet, and you can understand what your pet is saying because you're having an understanding of it. Your energy, you're exchanging that a certain energy, a certain frequency, basically, you're able to tap into with one another. And it's a universal language that this book was talking about. It's why I really won't get into too much, but it's why the main character in this book, Santiago, when he was a shepherd at the beginning of the book, and it's how he was able to know what his sheep needed. And he talked about just being able to communicate with them. And then when he started his travels, he was able to communicate with other people, and he had never lived in those places. So it's the same way where I'm able to communicate with her cats. I can hear one of the cats loves to talk a lot, and I know when he's talking now that he's hungry, or when he may not be feeling well, when that communication is saying he's not feeling well because he's actually dealing with some kidney issues or whatever. Also, the universe speaks in numbers. So at first I was more focused on the numbers, and the universe was telling me, hey, I'm speaking to you in all forms. So I saw what I think was a hawk flying, and a hawk symbolizes the ability to lead others, and for me to take initiative as well. And in the book, The Alchemist, there was an alchemist in the book, and he had a falcon that he carried on his shoulder, and it just signifies how certain birds have different meanings, and you have to be intuitive enough to understand what those meanings are and what those animals are trying to say to you. Also, another thing I see in every home that I've stayed in through Airbnb or whatever, there's been a butterfly in every single home. I mean, every single home. Whether that person had a picture of a butterfly, or they had a plug-in that was a butterfly, or whatever. So even in this home with Heidi, butterflies. She has butterflies in her room. So she has a dream catcher, which I love dream catchers. She has one in her kitchen, and the butterfly is in one of the windows. It's a bay window, basically, like a sit-in window in her kitchen. So yeah, you just see signs and symbols, things that you love, things that make your heart flutter, that make your heart happy. Yeah, because just know, the universe speaks in song. Everything is basically music, frequency, vibration. So you see it everywhere. You see signs and messages from the universe in everything you do. That's how you know. That's how you know that you're going in the right direction. So I don't feel like I'm rambling on or saying the same thing. It's just that I want to make sure that you guys get that your soul purpose or the universe speaks to you in a totally different way than this mouth can communicate. It's not going to communicate that way. However, sometimes you might get a person that confirms through their mouth something that your soul has already told you. And that's confirmation that you're going in the right direction, and just to stay steadfast in that. To not give up on yourself. To not give up on your dreams. To not give up on your soul purpose. I'll talk more about it as I go through my journey. I just wanted you guys to know, like, to reveal. I did say that I was going to let you guys know what the universe had guided me to next. And basically it's house sitting. And today, the lady I'm house sitting for reached out to me and said that she actually wants to keep me for as long as she can, because she knows that I go by the flow. I go by the messages of the universe as to what my next destination is to get to my soul purpose. And that's honestly in this book. That's what Santiago was doing. And it's kind of like it is trusting in the universe to give you everything that you need, and for putting everything in your path that you need in order to go to succeed in your soul's purpose, or exceed in achieving your soul's purpose. So on that note, I am going to go ahead and end this video. However, I'm still going to talk to you guys about what I am achieving in my life, and the things that the universe, one of the cats is staring at me right now, the things that the universe have put in my path, or continue to put in my path, in order for me to ascend, and not just ascend, in order for me to achieve my dreams and my aspirations. And actually, I just want to read part of the introduction. So, let's see. It says, the book has been translated into 56 languages, has sold more than 20 million copies, and people are beginning to ask, what's the secret behind such a huge success? The only honest response is, I don't know. All I know is that, like Santiago, the shepherd boy, we all need to be aware of our personal calling. What is a personal calling? It is God's blessing. It is a path that God chose for you here on earth. Whenever we do something that fills us with enthusiasm, we are following our legend. However, we don't all have the courage to confront our own dream. Why? There are 4 obstacles. First, we are told from childhood onward that everything we want to do is impossible. We grow up with this idea, and as the years accumulate, so too do the layers of prejudice, fear, and guilt. There comes a time when our personal calling is so deeply buried in our soul as to be invisible, but it's still there. If we have the courage to enter dream, we are then faced by the second obstacle, love. We know what we want to do, but are afraid of hurting those around us by abandoning everything in order to pursue our dream. We do not realize that love is just a further impetus, not something that will prevent us going forward. We do not realize that those who genuinely wish us well want us to be happy and are prepared to accompany us on that journey. Once we have accepted that love is a stimulus, we come up against a third obstacle, fear of the defeats we will meet on the path. We who fight for our dreams suffer far more when it doesn't work out because we cannot fall back on the old excuse. Oh well, I didn't really want it anyway. We do want it and know that we have staked everything on it and that the path of the personal calling is no easier than any other path, except that our whole heart is in this journey. Then we warriors of light must be prepared to have patience in difficult times and to know that the universe is conspiring in our favor, even though we may not understand how. Wow. That's really powerful. Really, really powerful. Really, really powerful. I ask myself, are defeats necessary? Well, not necessary or not, they happen. When we first begin fighting for our dream, we have no experience and make many mistakes. The secret of life, though, is to fall 7 times and to get up 8 times. I'm going to stop right there because, like I said, it's something that we all need to read. I actually almost got chills and teared up a little. But it's just knowing that when I first started before I started on my path, the reason why a lot of times I didn't do things that I wanted to do is because I felt people needed me. I felt like, oh, my family needs me, and I can't leave them. However, if you don't ever step out and do the things that your heart is telling you to do, you're going to live with regret. And not everybody's path is the same. I'm not telling anybody to do things the way I did it or exactly the way I did it. However, once you start making those choices, you'll know that you're going in the right direction. You won't feel the need to question anything. Your intuition will be your guide. Let your soul guide you, and you can't go wrong. There is no wrong way to your soul's purpose. Everything has a meaning and everything happens for a reason. So I just wanted to end on that note by giving you guys a little bit of that. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks. Don't worry about what anybody else says. Follow your heart. Your heart is your guide. I love you guys. And just go out there and do what you know you need to do in order to be happy in yourself. Because true happiness is in self. All right? Love you guys. Have a beautiful Sunday.